Welcome to the Instagram Stories Flash Briefing. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Our top story today comes from socialmediatoday.com. People are now spending more time on smartphones than they are watching TV. This is a really good fact-finding chart from eMarketer. For the first time ever, in 2019, U.S. consumers will spend more time using their mobile device than watching TV, with smartphone use dominating that time spent. This chart's really interesting. It shows the decline of television watching from 4 hours and 20 minutes per day in 2014, with a projected down to 3 hours and 22 minutes in 2021, and smartphone use going from 2 hours and 32 minutes per day on average up to projected 3 hours and 54 minutes by 2021. This is really, really huge. The report details the average U.S. adult will spend 3 hours, 43 minutes on mobile devices in 2019, just above the 3 hours and 35 minutes spent on TV. Of time spent on mobile, U.S. consumers will spend 2 hours and 55 minutes on smartphones, a 9-minute increase from last year. In 2018, mobile time spent was 3 hours and 35 minutes, with TV time spent at 3 hours and 44 minutes. The report breaks this down further into even where the time is being spent, with the majority of the time having to do with listening to digital audio, music, and podcasts primarily as the most common usage of the devices. As noted, the significance of the mobile shift has long been a known factor, but it's worth highlighting the point where the threshold is crossed as we see consumer habits focus increasingly on mobile devices as opposed to the more communal TV experience. Now, this is where I think Instagram really has set a great place for people who have been watching this for a long time and have been participating in the app. If you wanted to get people's attention by using television advertising, you would need thousands and millions of dollars. To get someone's attention on Instagram, you need just a phone, an internet connection, a really good presence, something to talk about, something to show. Once you have those things, your standard cost of entry is really, really low compared to television. So next time someone says, oh, these millennials and their apps, all their time staring at their phone, say, hey, older people just stared at TV for that same amount of time, and they turned out fine, right? Really, really interesting study. Well worth looking into from eMarketer. That's it for today's flash briefing. I'm working on a new podcast episode with Jen Herman from Jen's Trends, well-known Instagram speaker. I'm working on editing right now, as a matter of fact, so look for that in the next day or so. Search for the Instagram Stories podcast wherever you get podcasts. Thanks for listening.